Good morning, everybody. I hope we are all doing good. It's your girl Seeker in the house. Good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. I'm so excited. I really love being in this space. I love it so much. I'm always super excited to have another opportunity for us to hang out together and hopefully share some very useful tips and little bits and bobs that are going to help all of us mature and move on as a people. And who better to spend time with this morning than my own social media family, my own Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter family. I hope everybody is doing good. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to jump onto this live video and then I can get the show on the road. If you're here and you're watching behind the scenes, please, I want you to just say hello so I can acknowledge you and we can have a fantastic and amazing time. Good morning once again to everybody. There's been a number of questions that I've been putting together and piling up, just waiting for the opportune time to really explain things in the hope that we can all better understand what is going on and hopefully learn some valuable lessons from this Q&A session. And if you're listening and you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them. So this morning, the very simple thing that I want us all to think about is that we live on the surface of this planet at a time when things are always changing. We are always trying to find better and more efficient ways of doing everything that you can think about in this life. There was a time when people would travel with horses to get from one point to another. And then as time went on, the walking and trying to use animals didn't seem to be as effective as could be. And so things like bicycles and motorcycles came up as time went on and people kept advancing in the sorts of things that they could venture out and try to do. As time went on, it went on from motorcycles and bicycles to actual vehicles that people would drive to get from A to B. Then came trains and planes, and now we have a host and a variety of different modes of travel to be able to get where you need to get to. There used to be a time when our forefathers would use their bare hands to try and pull up weeds from their farms and gardens. That was labor intensive. They didn't get very far in a hurry. And yeah, they didn't do a lot. Like you spent your whole day just pulling weeds from your farm. That's not cost effective. Like that's not a good and effective use of your time. And so as time went on, farming became more mechanized. Now they're hoes and cutlasses. They went on from there, and now they're combined harvesters. There's literally a machine to do literally everything for us in today's day and age. My great grandmother was using stone and, one big stone and another smaller one in order to mash vegetables when they're trying to make a sauce or a soup. And then it went into a mashing bowl or a little mortar and a pestle. And we went on from there. And today there are blenders to do all kinds of things. If you want it smooth, there's a blade for that. If you want it kind of lumpy, there's something else for it. The point I'm trying to make is that science and our human nature, everything of ours is constantly evolving and changing. And people are always looking for better, more cost effective and efficient ways to do things. A, to make life easier. B, to ensure that you're not wasting too much time on something that you could do in a shorter time. And C, to make it more convenient and comfortable for those of us who have to do those activities. In a similar manner, when we look at the human being and how we've evolved over time, what we need to do to be able to look after our own selves, like this body, this case that we live in, and do what is best for us, it's a similar sort of thing. When God created human beings and brought us on the surface of this planet, He made humans to be able to look after our own self and for our bodies to be able to self-heal itself. However, as time has evolved, a lot of different varieties of options have been presented to humans as we've evolved over the years. It's like with each new breed or generation that comes up, there's something new that comes up with that generation as well. And so we went from using herbs and leaves and all those kinds of things to try and solve problems. If a human gets bitten by a snake, there's something that they can use to deal with the wound and to get the poison out. We went on and on and on until humans started studying different things and got to a place in the 90s where bread mold, otherwise known as penicillin, became what was used to solve a lot of bacterial infections that affected humans. And since that breakthrough, there hasn't been any huge, significant breakthrough as the one that I'm about to tell you about. We human beings have the ability to heal our own selves. Our bodies can heal themselves. We don't need to keep depending on pharmaceuticals and the substances that they give us to solve all kinds of problems. And I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, but I also don't believe that it is the solution or the blanket solution for every kind of situation. Our bodies still have the ability to cure and heal ourselves and recover if given the right tools to be able to do so. And as you know, science is always advancing. Things are always changing. And it's our responsibility as humans to always look into different things. If you don't have an open mind to always explore different options to see what works best for you, you get left by the sidelines. You become obsolete because times are moving ahead. Things are constantly changing. There used to be a time when you had to, if you lived in England, you had to stand by the side of the road and literally stick your finger out at a black cab. And then it stops and you get in or you hop in. And then the meter starts running and it gets you where it needs to get you to. If you're stuck in traffic, you're done for because the meter is still running and you're not where you need to be. Things have changed. Today, now there's Uber. There's all kinds of different subsidiaries to Uber. There are other companies that are trying to model Uber and see where the pitfalls lie and do better than that. So times are always continuously changing. Now, with every change comes a period where people will kick back against anything. Oh, I don't want to know about this. This is new. I don't understand it. And so because I don't understand how it works now, let me just forget that it exists. I'm not even going to touch it. I don't want to know anything about it. But when you do that, the only person that suffers is you, because there's a whole world out there with different things that are more useful and more beneficial to you. But if you don't have an open mind enough to even want to know about it, explore it, try to understand how it works and see whether it's something that is a fit for you, something that you can use that is going to enhance and improve your life, then you're just hurting yourself. 18 months ago, I was at a place where my health was not on point. And it's not been for a very long time for different reasons. Like I've had medical constraints and issues or discomforts that have gone on over 3 decades. And all I've been doing is putting Band-Aid on it and trying to manage symptoms and thinking that this is how my whole life has to be. But 18 months ago, I had the opportunity and I was blessed to be presented with an alternative that can help me and help you, if you're interested, to make your life better for you. This revolutionary scientific breakthrough is actually inside of you. You're making it inside your cells, it's in your body. You're making it yourself. And it's nothing other than redox signaling molecules. The $1,000,000 question is, what is redox? I've heard you talk about redox for a very long time, but what at all is redox? Redox signaling molecules, as I said, is actually found on the inside of you and I. If you're admitting that this body of yours is made up of cells, like every part of your body is made up of cells, then you have redox inside of you. Your eyes are made up of cells, the nose, cells, your mouth, your hair, like your skin, every part of your body is made up of cells. When we break it down to the very core foundations, the basics of human existence or life is cells. Every living thing on this planet has cells in them. Animals do, your pets do, lizards do, ants do, like everything that is breathing or moving has cells in them, including plants, leaves, trees. They all have cells in them. When your cells die, you die, because every aspect of your existence is made up of these cells. Now, in the core of these cells is a part of the cell called the mitochondria that is responsible for all the energy that your body needs to be able to do the simple functions that we take for granted. Blinking your eye, opening your eye, closing your eye, opening your mouth and closing it, like all the basic functions that we perform. The cells give the energy to all the systems in our bodies to be able to do this. Another function of the cell is to produce these redox signaling molecules that I'm talking about this morning. And the function of the redox is to make sure that the cells in the different parts of us coordinate and communicate with each other. If the signals in your cells are not amplified or strong enough that the cells are able to communicate effectively with each other, then that's when you end up with all the challenges, the discomforts, and the diseases that you feel because your cells are not communicating effectively and working in tandem with each other. I can liken this whole scenario to this particular thing. Imagine that you put a pot of soup on fire. You were so tired, you decided to just lay in the couch whilst the soup was doing its thing on the fire, and you fell asleep. In fact, you fell into a deep sleep. The soup boiled over and boiled and boiled, and then it turned into a sauce because all the water evaporated from it, and now you're just left with this huge lumpiness. And you were still sleeping. And so it started to burn, and the whole pot of soup burnt to ashes. After the burning, the pot started burning, and there were so many fumes. The cooker that you were using couldn't take all this heat anymore. And so now your kitchen is on fire. There's so much smoke. Your fire alarm goes off, and that's what wakes you up. But now you're engulfed in smoke, and your kitchen is on fire. You managed to grab your phone, your cell phone, because it was lying next to you when you were sleeping, and you grabbed it and you ran outside. When you ran outside, you had good signal. You called the fire brigade. Hey, my house is burning. Please come and help me quench the fire. You're calling the number. You think the number is going through because you can hear it ringing from your cell phone. But if the fire services don't also have a strong signal enough to be able to capture what you are doing, like your signal from your cell phone, then guess what? They're not hearing what you need. They don't know there's an emergency, yet not to talk of bringing the fire engines and trying to quench your fire. So guess what? You'll be stood outside there trying frantically to call them. They can't hear you. And finally, your house burns to ashes with everything, your memories, the pictures, the photos, the things that you can never, get back with insurance, and all the money in the world. All of it would have burnt down to ashes. A similar sort of thing happens when the cells inside of our bodies, let's just say the cells in your heart, are not really communicating effectively with those in your brain. And so your brain is trying to say, hey, there isn't enough oxygen here. The blood needs to pump faster so that I can get more oxygen. I need more oxygenated blood here. But the heart is not hearing it. And so now there's so many different things going on in your brain. Maybe there's a clogged artery somewhere. There's some blood clots that is in your brain that is threatening to lodge. And when that happens, you end up being paralyzed on one side. But the cells in the different parts of your cardiovascular system are not hearing what's happening. And so all of a sudden, you're lying in bed, the thing has ruptured, it's gone inside and burst inside your brain or somewhere else in your body. And now you're paralyzed on one side. From your head to your toes on your left side or right side, you can't move your body anymore. Or maybe it's nothing to do with that. Maybe it's your eyes. There's an issue with the optic nerve that is connecting the lens to the retina. There's some problem. And now all of a sudden, there's a break in that nerve. There's something, some obstruction in that nerve. And now you can't see, you're blind. When the cells in every single aspect of your body are functioning properly, you are also functioning effectively. And so if you're having any kind of discomfort or dis-ease inside of your body, it simply means that there's something wrong with some cells in some part of your body, and it's not signaling properly. Not to know that there's some damage here, the cells need repair so that they can work together for this repair to happen. And this is why we end up with all the different challenges that we have. Some people have challenges with their vision. Some people have challenges with their blood pressure. Some people have challenges with blood sugars because there's something wrong with the cells in your pancreas and that whole system. And so your cells are not signaling effectively. Maybe there isn't the right amount of insulin coming inside your bloodstream to deal with the sugars that are in there. Or maybe your pancreas is making the insulin, but because there's no proper coordination and signaling and effective communication going on in your cells, the cells and your body are not able to utilize the insulin that is being made in the right quantities from your pancreas. You might have issues with your reproductive system. Maybe it's your gut. When you eat food, you're not able to digest and for assimilation to take place effectively. Your body isn't able to take the effective nourishment that it needs from the food that you've eaten. And so you end up with all these gastrointestinal issues that you have. And, you're always burping, you have gas all over, and you feel so uncomfortable. You're bloated all the time, on and on and on. Different issues for different people. Maybe the cells in your scalp, there's something wrong with whatever allows you to grow hair effectively. And so your hair is not growing. There are patches all over the place. Why? Because the cells in your scalp, the cells that are supposed to enable follicles of hair to grow, there's something amiss there. And so you're not able to grow your hair how it needs to grow. There's so many things that cause dis-eases and discomforts inside of our body. Dis-ease. You are not at ease. It is painful. It hurts. It's not comfortable. Dis-ease. And we all feel them in different parts of our bodies. You don't have to live this boring, miserable life where you're always at the mercy of a doctor. You always have to go see your family doctor for one reason or another. And, for most things these days, all they do is to give you a Band-Aid, which is Here is a prescription. Go get the prescription and start taking it. And for weeks and months and sometimes years, you're hooked onto this substance, a chemical made substance in a lab that you're supposed to depend on for the rest of your life that causes other side effects. So it's like you're sorting out one issue and you're bringing back 10 other issues to replace that issue. That used to be my life. Yeah. If I get started on that, we won't get to the actual Q&A session, but I'll just give an example. Everybody that has been on this platform for any length of time knows that Sika has polycystic ovarian syndrome. And because of that, I was put on all kinds of medications to do with balancing hormones, being put on hormonal treatment. So I was popping a pill to solve a hormonal issue, but that pill would also now cause me to become more prone to getting migraines. Now, migraines is something that has to do with your brain not functioning properly. The cells in your brain, there's something that is amiss. And so you have the auras, the numbness in your fingertips, everything just suddenly goes black and you can't see anything and there's no warning. Everything is happening within a matter of minutes. And now I have to go lay down in a dark room. And I could be confined to that space from anything from a number of hours to a whole week when I get to the very extreme of this migraine. You can't do anything to ward it off. It has to run its course and then be done with that. What kind of a debilitating condition is this? That I have one issue with not having my hormones balanced. And now because of that one issue, now I've got another two issues, a problem with my brain and migraines resulting from that. So now I have to be given pills to try to prevent the migraines from happening, which, by the way, have other side effects as well. And then you just end up being a pharmacy in a body that is just popping pills for different reasons. That used to be my life. 18 months ago, as I said, I met an amazing woman who had been on social media for a long time. Our paths had crossed indirectly, but I didn't have any direct contact with her. It had to take a certain situation, but the heavens orchestrated everything. And finally, we're now in touch. And we were talking about something that had nothing to do directly with, wellness or health or anything. But it so happens that in the course of that communication, when I told her what I was going through and all the other, subsidiary issues, she brought me to this precious gift that I'm about to tell you about. I can't call it anything else but a gift because it's been an absolute blessing to my life. And it can do the same thing for you if you want it to. So she told me about redox and told me how my body makes redox by itself, but that because of age, that's the fact that we are aging, and from the ages when we are at puberty and growing, that the amount of redox that our cells are able to make begins to decline. And so you need to up that dosage of redox by ingesting more of it inside of your cells so that you're not reducing the amount that your body is making on its own. The other factor that causes redox to decline is the toxins that we are all living in. You come out of your house, even inside of this house here where I'm sat right now, I'm still being exposed to all kinds of toxins. Toxins as I'm doing this live video, as we're talking, the toxins that are coming from my camera, from my laptop, from my computer, it's all around us and it's affecting you in real time. The other thing is the foods that we're eating, because the foods are not clean anymore. Everything has to have some herbicide or pesticide or something sprayed on top of it. So our food is no longer organic. Some things are actually being scientifically engineered so that we have more food to feed the population. Did you know that now there are eggs and all kinds of other things that are engineered It smells like an egg. It looks like an egg, but it is not an egg that came out of an animal. It smells like it, but it's not it. There's so many things that are happening. Animals are being injected with all kinds of things that we are consuming. And now we have all these facial hairs and all kinds of things going on. Why? Because things are not allowed to grow organically anymore. And the last thing is stress. Some of it we can control, a lot of it we can't. If you have work and you're stressed out and whatever with work, that is a source of stress. If you're not in wellness yourself, you have all these, complications and discomforts and diseases in your body. That causes stress in itself too. If you have issues with your wife or your spouse, your significant other, that is a source of stress. Your children, a source of stress. Like, we could go on and on and on about things that cause us stress. All these 4 things that I've listed and many more result in our cells not being able to make enough redox signaling molecules to keep our bodies in this homeostasis level of balance where we don't have any issues. And when the bugs and all the enemies are entering our body or our system, our cells are fortified enough to be able to ward them off and prevent any attacks, prevent us from contracting or having any serious issues in our wellness, all because everything is in that level of homeostasis where everything is balanced out properly. It is the imbalance in all of this, when our cells are crying for more redox and not getting that we end up with the complications and the issues that we have. So I hope that in this very brief illustration, I've managed to explain to somebody what redox is. That is something that is innate to you. It's inside of you. God brought you here with redox inside of you already. But you're not making enough now because you've aged, you've grown. If you're past puberty, you don't have enough redox anymore. So you need to top up with more of the same. Now, here is the exciting piece. Until the last 16 years, there wasn't a single company or anybody on the surface of this planet that had been able to manufacture redox outside of humans. Because if you've heard anything I've said, redox is made inside of you. It's in your cells. It's in your body. But 16 years ago, there was a huge break. For the first time in this existence of life, a company was able to make redox outside of humans, one, and secondly, be able to stabilize the redox, because when the redox is made in our cells, it's utilized immediately. You make it, you use it, you make it, you use it, you make it, you use it, you make it, you use it. That's how the cells in our body, that's what happens. But for us to be able to top up with more of the same, we need the redox outside of humans so we can add to what we already make. And B, it has to be the redox itself when we're consuming it. So one, the redox needed to be made. And two, it needed to be stabilized so that it's redox. When you're taking redox, you know it's redox you're taking inside of you. And 16 years ago, a company was able to make redox, scientifically make redox and stabilize redox for you and I to be able to ingest and make ourselves feel better, bring our body back to that level of homeostasis so that we can ward off all these things that have been bugging us over the years. The second question that have been asked is, so is this redox some kind of a supplement or a vitamin, or is it CBD oil, or like what is it? It's none of those things. Vitamins are manufactured from something. Maybe they take some extracts from some fruits or berries or something that is nutritious to you, and they make vitamin supplements that you and I consume. That is good. It's a good regimen if you get your vitamins from a great source where you know that it is what it says it is and not some manufactured garbage that you're taking that is going to cause you more harm than good. It is not none of that. Vitamins are made. Redox is already inside you, like your body is already making it. It's innate to you, it's native to your body. That is the difference between multivitamins and supplements of different kinds and redox, because redox is already inside of you. When you consume all these multivitamin supplements, whatever it is, your body still has to take it in and now figure out, what is this that Sika has taken? This glucosamine or whatever, what is this? And now begin to break it down. Oh, this will be good for her knee and her shoulders and her hip joints. Oh, okay. And then push it where it needs to go. Redox, on the other hand, is already inside of you. Your body knows what redox is. So when you drink more redox or you ingest more redox, it's like, oh, yeah, thank you so much for giving me more of what I need. Now I can get to work and do what I need to do. That is the difference between consuming all these other things and having redox inside of you. Multivitamins are great things for helping your nutritional, you with your nutrition needs or your requirements, nutritional requirements. But we're talking on a cellular level, what you need to actually have your body in tandem and balance, so that even when you take these multivitamin supplements, your food, nutrition, and all those other things, your body is able to better effectively assimilate all the good stuff in those things that you take, the food that you're eating, the nutrition that you're taking in, and be able to help your body make better use of it. So when the cells are working effectively, everything else is working effectively as well. Prior to taking redox, part of the issue that I had with the whole polycystic ovaries and hormonal imbalance is that my hair was looking something else. As you can see, I haven't even put any gloss or shine in my hair, but look at it. It has a lot of volume and shine. Why? Because I've just been spraying. I use redox as my sprit. I spray it into my hair many times a day. And that's what I do. I put redox on my face. I put it on myself. I spray it all over me many times a day, because my cells, the cells of every aspect of my body, I want the cells in every part of me to be able to assimilate the redox, and be able to do what it needs to do to help me. I have a lot of people asking me, so what is your hair regimen? What do you do? I don't do anything. I just wash my hair with normal shampoo and sprit it with redox. And hey, voila, this is my hair. It's growing. It's got more volume. It's down my shoulders and to my neck on the back. And it's getting longer and has more volume. Absolutely amazing. And all the patches and all those things that I used to have, the hairs are all growing. Why? Because the redox is redoxing. My body is coming back in balance where it needs to be, for my body to do what it needs to do, to help me be able to effectively do the things that I'm supposed to be doing, ward off issues, not have to rely on pharmaceuticals all the time, but do what needs to be done for me. Somebody asked me the question, so how long should I take redox for? This redox, how long do I need it for? When you really come to a place of understanding what redox is and what it does for you, the fact that as you're aging, your redox level is declining, must you stop taking redox? Because if you stop taking it, you're still growing in age. So if you've raised your level to a certain place and you reduce it, you stop, and you're aging, it means that your redox level will start declining again. You need to take redox if you have every intention of living out the number of your days, right? Living out the number of your days and having the ability to enjoy all the fullness that this life has to offer. I have not felt this good all my life. This is the truth. that I have to say to everybody. I have not gone for more than a week in my past life without having one thing or another. Like if I go a whole month and nothing happens, it's like, wow, okay. I've had 17 incisions in my body. I've been under the knife 17 times. So you can just imagine what my cellular health was like what level my cells were at. They were on life support. That's the honest truth. And so for somebody to be in that place and to go for 18 months, the only big issue I had was a flu a couple weeks back, because I went to go get my hair done. And then I stood outside and, kind of got soaked with all this snow, rain, and whatever. It got inside of me. The redox was fighting, but hey, it was just too much. There was a very stressful time that same week as well. And I don't know whether anybody knows this, but when you're under a lot of stress, a lot more cortisol is released into your bloodstream. And when that happens, it doesn't take a lot. Like when the bugs come and everything is bombarding you, they will get the better of you. And so this was something beyond my control. It came about. I was in here. I thought I needed to go to the doctors, like I needed some medical intervention. But all I did was continue to ingest Redox, apply the gel everywhere I could apply it, and ingest Redox. In fact, more of it. And then my sister told me about apple cider vinegar, garlic, honey, and hot water. Ooh, that thing works like something. My voice came back after 5 days, and we are back in business. That's the only condition. That's the only thing I can think about that I've had that is significant and worth mentioning. I've had all kinds of things you can't even imagine. Cancer, leiomyosarcoma, I've done it. I've had all kinds of issues, polycystic ovaries, all kinds of, surgical interventions. But today, I am telling you on the fourth floor of my life that the last 18 months have been the most peaceful of my lifetime, because my cells continue to heal themselves on a daily basis and coming back to that place of balance where I need it to be. I'm not completely healed yet, because my cells have been unwell for the last 40 something years. In fact, since I hit puberty, and that was the worst time of my life. I don't even want to think about that time. From the age of 12 onwards, I don't want to remember anything about it. I don't have any good memories of my teen years, and that is God's honest truth. Anybody who knows me properly, like closely, would attest to this. There's nothing fun to write home about. But now on the fourth floor of my life, well, finally, I can start to enjoy, things, get out there unaided, be able to walk by myself. I don't complain about aches and bumps and twinges as much as I used to do. Everybody got fed up with Sika complaining about one thing or the other. Even my doctor, he's like, wow, I haven't seen you in a very long time. I'm like, yeah, I have no intention of seeing you. I love you, but I don't want to see you that often anymore. Why? Because the cells are repairing themselves, getting you back to that level of balance inside of you. But what I would say is that if you have any chronic discomforts and diseases inside of your body, and you've understood the concept that the reason why you're having all of this issue or issues is because your cells are not balanced. Your cells are not well. And if your cells are not well, you are not well. It's as simple as that. People can rationalize it and tell you it's any other way. The truth about it is that when your cells are well, you are well. Simple. Pharmaceutical companies would like us to remain dependent on them because that's the only way they are still in business and they have a market. And so you would have elevated blood sugars and your medic would tell you, hey, you have to be on metformin for the rest of your life, because if you don't, this is what is going to happen. So you're on metformin medication, but now you also have to deal with chronic diarrhea. You have to deal with other issues. Now they have to give you something else to deal with the chronic diarrhea and the other gastrointestinal issues that you're having. Maybe your cells in your cardiovascular system are not right. So now you have elevated blood pressures. Instead of digging deeper to figure out, but why is Sika having elevated blood pressure? She didn't have that before. What changed? Oh, here, go pop this pill. Yeah, when you take this one, it will suppress your blood pressure and make things better for you. So here, go. And for the rest of your life, you're ingesting blood pressure medication because you've been told that that is the only way you're going to survive. If you don't, you have a stroke, you have this, you have that. And that is the end of the story. I'm not a medic. I cannot tell you to get off your medication. That's not why I'm here. What I'm telling you is that when the cells in your body are well, you're well. And so when you start ingesting redox and you start bringing your body back to that place of balance and homeostasis, when your medic sees you next time, they're going to say, with the levels I'm seeing, I don't think you need as much of this thing anymore. So let's half your dosage. If you continue ingesting redox and things are improving, they might say after 6 months, oh, come back for a review. Oh, actually, things have improved again. So let's half that half again. And maybe after some time, you don't need this thing anymore. So guess what? You've taken yourself off of all those things that they've been giving you, all those prescriptions that they've been giving you, that, by the way, is not just solving the problem and leaving you alone, but it's leaving you with 10 other problems behind it. And can I shock you by telling you that every single prescription, whether you can get it over the counter or not, like cough mixture or hay fever medication or whatever you take, Aleve, Tylenol, let's go on, Advil, all of those things. Did you know that every single substance that is made in a lab, like those pharmaceutical substances that you and I have both been consuming, can I tell you that all of those ones, they have something called LD50. Please, when you go back to your medic next time, ask them what LD50 is, and they'll tell you. Or they may ask you, where did you hear that from? They don't make this common knowledge. They don't want us to think about these things because LD50 means lethal, that is the L, dosage, that is the D, 50. What is 50? 50 means at what level did 50% of the mice and rats that they tested all these things on perish, die? And it is only when they have that level that the pharmaceutical companies are FDA approved to put these things on the market for you and I to consume. Of course, when they figured out what that lethal dosage is, they have to, bring it down and water it down and water it down and water it down some more till it gets to that point where it's beneficial to you, or putting a band-aid on your issue, on the short term, solving your problem and keeping you on it. Because as long as you're on it, you're buying it every time. Every time you go to the pharmacy shop, they don't give you medications for free. Even if you're insured because you're working for a company that is benefiting from your time. And one of the benefits that you get by sacrificing yourself and your time for that company is that you have medical insurance. And I don't know whether there are any benefit packages where you have 100% coverage, like you can get whatever prescription you like and the company pays for it. At best, they may pay for 80%, 90% of it, but there's still a portion that you have to pay for. Just imagine if the cells in your body were all in tandem, your body was in a place of homeostasis, and you don't have any huge challenges that require you to have prescription medications written out and you paying for them all the time. If enough people were doing this, pharmaceuticals will go bankrupt because nobody will be buying metformin, insulin, and all kinds of other things, cancer medication, all those things. Now, I am not knocking medics. I have family that are medics. I have a sister who's a doctor. I have another that's a nurse. Like, I have all these people all around my family, an uncle who's a gynae. There's so many people that I know and are related to that are medics. One of my best friends in this life is a doctor. So I get it. I understand it. They save lives. I have nothing but the utmost respect for them, for everything that they're able to do, like all the knowledge they have about how humans function and all of that. And it's exciting. Having said that, I'm also saying that maybe orthodox medicine isn't the only way. There's a better, or there are better and more effective ways of doing things. And it's okay to look at those other options and decide what works best for you. It can't be a one size fits all situation. And it has its place. I've had issues where I've had anaphylaxis and I'm at the point on death's door. It's happened to me many times. But because I lived in a place where you could just pick up the phone and call an ambulance, and an ambulance is just down the road, my life was saved multiple times. I got given the EpiPen, my airwaves opened, I can breathe again. Yeah. When somebody has a cardiac arrest, yeah, they need first aid, like right now, ER treatment right now. I get that. But when you have an ongoing condition, it seems a much better and effective way for people to dig deeper into your issue and see how you can find a long lasting, more sustainable, less harmful way of dealing with the issue. Other than saying, here is a pill, go pop it every day for the rest of your life, and that is the end of the story. When you do this over time, and it may take many years for you to get back to that homeostasis level, because it took a long time for your cells to be destroyed to the point where it was destroyed to when you found redox. But hey, if you continue to pursue this on the understanding that you're repairing yourself and getting back to that level of balance where you don't have to do none of these things anymore. Your life is so exciting. You wake up every morning and all you have to do every single day of your life is to ingest redox and more of it, and you have a happy life, and you're spraying it every single time on you and doing all the things that you need to do. I'm spraying it. I put it everywhere many times a day. Why? Because my cells need to heal and recover. And I want the cells on every part of my body, including my skin, which is also made up of cells, to heal and recover. What are you waiting for? Ask questions. I need to know more about redox. I want to know more about redox, and I'll answer it. Somebody asked me a question. Why do I need a cellular health coach to guide me on what I need to do? It's because it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. I'm Sika. I have my own peculiar health issues. My genes are never going to be the same as yours. You are you and I am me. The people that got together to make me are different from the people that got together to make you. So even though the color of our skin may be the same, when we get cut by something, blood oozes out and it's the same color. The fact about it is that on a scientific, basic cellular molecular level, we are very, very different. Our genotype, different. How long it takes my cells to recover is different from yours. And so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You need to be guided about what it is that you need to do. A bit like going to the doctors and being told that, okay, I've checked your blood pressure, I've looked at ABCD, and I think you should start off with 20 milligrams of X and take it for 4 weeks and come back and see me afterwards. Let's see what your levels are at, and then we can go from there. That is a doctor telling you, based on what they see, what you need to do. Similarly, on redox, you've done all kinds of things. Your body has been subjected to so much. And so you need to be given a particular way, and your way is not the same as somebody else's way. We don't all air out what is going on in our private lives and put out what medications we're taking, what dosage you're taking. There are some issues that some of us are not even comfortable to let another soul know about. So maybe the only person that knows is your medic, because they are bound by law to be able to keep your information confidential. And so it's not a one size fits all situation where you list, oh, somebody says that they take 2 ounces 5 times a day, so I'm also going to do the same thing. No, you're not them. They're not you. You get a Redox Cellular Health coach like myself to help and guide you on what it is that you need to do. It didn't come overnight. I've been on Redox for 18 months. And when I started to see what it was doing for me, I got so excited. I wanted to know more. You constantly need to learn and read and research and understand and learn and understand and keep learning. It's a journey. Like, I'm never going to be done learning about redox. Cellular health is where we are headed. That is where science, medicine, like everything you can think about, that is where it's headed. The orthodox way of doing things has helped, but maybe it's not the only way or the most effective way. So now a lot of resources are being pumped into cellular wellness, people understanding more about cells on the molecular level. That's where we're headed. You don't have to wait and suffer in silence until it becomes a household name before you finally accept that, oh, maybe this is something I should learn about. Because maybe by that time, you won't even have the privilege of being alive anymore. You can't see what is going on in the inside of your body. That's God's honest truth. You don't have that microscope or the inner eye to be able to open your eyes like this, and then you can see inside to see whether the cells in your heart, your kidney, your liver, your lungs, your breast, your bum, your butt, your everything is working properly. All you see is what is outside the skin. But what about what you feel inside? A lot of us have all kinds of symptoms that are not, we don't have any explanations to. Maybe you've even gone to have it looked at medically and they can't find anything that's logical or makes sense. Oh, it's nothing, it's just aging, you're just getting older and you just have to accept that that is how it is. Thank you, darling. Blessed day to you too, Sister Desphine. How are you doing? You don't have to live that life of hopelessness, as if there's nothing there, there's nothing we can do for you. And sometimes when I listen to stories about people whose lives have been absolutely transformed by this revolutionary scientific medical breakthrough of redox, I get very excited. Why? Pastor Patience, who opened my eyes to this whole world of redox, she always talks about her story. If you go to her page, her name is Patience O. Edwards on Facebook, and you listen to her story, it gives me goosebumps every single time. She says that she wasn't well, and she was told to go and put her house in order. That medically, there's nothing they could do for her, and they didn't think what she was dealing with had any cure. And so she should go put her house in order. And yeah, that's the end of the story. It's like we're at a dead end. This is a death sentence. You're not going to make it. Bye-bye. That's it. Can you imagine how that felt? For a mom to know that they're going to be leaving their teenage daughter. Like, who's going to be responsible for a child that is not even an adult yet? What are her prospects? Like, what's going to happen? And there she was, laying, thinking this was the end of the story. And just like I'm telling you, somebody told her and introduced her to redox. She applied the redox gel all over her body, like massaged it into her. And like clockwork, her cells started to, oh, yes, this is what we've been waiting for, and it started to do what it needed to do. Today, 5, 6 years on, Pastor Patience is still very much alive. 3 months to put your house in order. Almost 6 years later, she is still alive and very much well. That we can all see and hear. Go to her platform. She's there. Always putting posts up. She's doing live videos explaining about redox. This is what happens to you. You get so excited, you can't keep quiet about it anymore. When you know and you've been through some things in your life before, and now you have a different life. Can I tell you that 12 years ago, this time, I was probably 31-ish, I think, by that time, that, and I hate to talk about this because it makes me really emotional, but at that time, I couldn't move my limbs, and I had plaster of Paris from the middle of my thigh all the way down to my leg in a cast for months. And I was confined to a wheelchair with a commode because it was such a whole task to try to get out of that thing and into the bathroom, like onto a water closet to do the do. That was my life a decade and a bit ago. I can't even imagine it, that this was still me. It was that me that was at that place. And you have total strangers coming into your house and going. Like in the morning, it's somebody else. In the afternoon, it's somebody else. And they're total strangers just in and out of your house. And they all get to see your everything. And, you're just helpless and vulnerable and out there. For everybody, you're just like an artifact that everybody, people are seeing your everything. That used to be my life. But thank God that today I'm here by myself, and I'm telling you that on this 4th floor, it's been the most fabulous time. The last 18 months have been the most amazing time. To wake up in the morning and be able to get out of bed. Oh my God, I thank you so much. I thank you so much. And I can't even stop saying thank you to Pastor Patience enough. Like, thank you for telling me. Imagine if she had kept quiet. What would my life have been like today? I'm just going to jump off this. We're going to have a chat, and then I'm going to get dressed. I have to go out and I'm just living my life, not having to be confined to one space anymore, because I had the mind that when I heard about redox, I wanted to know more. I wanted a solution, like this kind of life. I'm tired of it. This might be you. And you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. You don't have to live another day of your life in absolute agony and total despair, where you think that, this is it. This is how it's always going to be. You don't have to accept that. You don't. How about ask the question? What can I do? Like, I want to know more about this. I don't understand why nobody is asking no questions. Like, nobody is intrigued enough to say, you know what, maybe this might be what I've been looking for. Maybe this is what is going to be that thing that I prayed so much for and I've been wishing for, and I've been asking for a breakthrough. Well, here it is. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? Are you just going to say, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for that. And that's the end of the story? Or are you going to actually ask questions and say, you know what? I've been through so much. I've been through so much in my life. Like, now I've had enough. And I just want to know that there's some other alternative. I want to give this a try. This is the time to do that. You don't have to wait and procrastinate. Oh, I'll do it next month. Oh, I'll do it 2 months from now. Oh, I'll do it 6 months from. Oh, I'll do it later. That later never seems to come. But when you've been through something and you've really, really been through something, trust me, you would do anything to stay alive, to be in wellness, to be able to live out the number of your days and do what is required of you to get where you need to get to. Trust me. To have 17 incisions on your body and still be able to move every day is nothing short of a miracle. Trust me. And when I say incisions, I'm not just talking about, oh, you went and you had a little cut and they stitched it up. I'm talking about like 15 of those times being put under general anesthetic and being put to sleep and people doing things to you. Oh, we have to take this away from here. We have to remove that. Oh, this growth has to go. Oh, this thing, this cyst must go. Oh, we must cut off this. Oh, we have to put this metal chip. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 17 times. 15 of them under general anesthetic. That's what I mean. It's not being fun. It's not. And I didn't think that there was any better prognosis. I was actually looking forward to when the next one was going to happen, because that used to be my life. Like I would tell pastor patients, I've had 17 surgeries and counting, because it's like, it's just going to be another year or two. And now I have to have another one. I don't have to live that life anymore. It's the best thing that can happen. And I know you're not me, but maybe you have some other issue. If the cells in every single part of your body are in wellness, guess what? You are in complete wellness. I am still on my journey to recovery. I've enjoyed the last 18 months of it. It's been an absolute blessing. And I entreat you right now. Contact that website and ask questions. I feel so sorry every time I see people that are in agony, in pain, for whatever reason. It breaks my heart. Actually, it does. To see that there is help. Why aren't people asking for help? Why are you allowing yourself to deal with unnecessary discomfort and dis-ease when there's a solution to your problem? This thing, it's available in over 34 countries across the globe and counting. The only markets we haven't gotten to yet in the continents of Africa and the Caribbean. But today, if you live in Europe, you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. All across Europe, you don't have to suffer another day in silence anymore. If you live in the States, you live in Canada, Mexico, Philippines, you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. I am very sure, Miss Delphine, that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But you're sitting in Canada, you're listening to me as okay. You're living in the States, you're listening, you just put it to one side and you're suffering in silence. What do you have to lose? Like, why wouldn't you try something that could completely change your very existence? What's the reason? And I keep getting this, I have other commitments. I have other things that I need to do. So you just give me a bit of time. Let me sort myself out first. And when I'm done sorting myself out, then I'll contact you. What if you don't live to see this so-called project of yours completed? Then what? We have our priorities all set in the very wrong way. We want things, but we don't want things at the same time. We self-sabotage ourselves. Well, I'm putting up this house back in Africa. I'm saving up to buy my house. Yeah. What is the point of buying a house or saving up to build a house somewhere that you don't even live in? Put yourself and your effort and your life on hold for that. And then they put your casket in that house What's the sense in that? Because I've seen it happen so many times. So many times. People put themselves out and do all manner of craziness just so that they can have a mansion back home. But you're squatting where you are. Like, it's as if we think we can put pause on our lives that we're living now, hustling. And then later on, when we've made it, then we can press play. And then our age will start, the clock will start running after that. But as you're going, the age clock is also ticking. So every single day that you have, that you're alive, you have to make the most of it and enjoy it as best as you can. Do what you must do to prolong the number of your days. If you subject yourself to enough pressure and everything completely decomposes and, everything is dysfunctional inside of you, you wouldn't be able to finish that project. Not to talk of take your eyes like this to go and see what you've done. I'm not saying progress is not important. It absolutely is. But priorities, your wellness, this is the body, the vehicle that is allowing you to do all those things that you're talking about. If your body isn't well, how are you going to achieve your dreams in this life? And so, my brother, my sister, let's organize and re-put things in the rightful places and do the things that are necessary first before we worry about the other things. Trust me, when you're in wellness and you feel good about yourself and everything is working how it needs to work, everything else falls in place too. We have it the wrong way around. Oh, I have to save money. I have to go and do this. I have to pay that one school fees. I have to do this for this person. But when you're not alive anymore, how are you going to continue to support those people? So you have to look after yourself, sleep well, eat good food, take your redox, the cells in your body, let them work how they need to work. And then you'd have the vitality and everything to continue pushing towards your dreams. That's how it needs to be ordered. I've been forced to order it like that because the issues that I have and have had have forced me to rethink about what matters first. If you don't prioritize you and your wellness, nobody else will do that for you, honey. Nobody. Because everybody is just out there around your life for a meal ticket. That's it. Pay for this. Give me that. Give me that. People are always taking from you. What are you putting into yourself? You are your own number one customer. You determine what happens to you. You decide what happens to you, and you are responsible ultimately for you. You can't entrust it in the hands of your mom, your grandmother, your great-grandfather, not your siblings, your children, nobody. You, yourself. You're an adult. And so the time to act on what we're talking about is right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, just right now. Why? Because I love everybody in my social media family so much that if you're watching me and you're suffering in silence, I don't want you to suffer in silence anymore. And it doesn't matter what issue it is you have. If the cells in your body are well, trust me, you are also well. The cells in my body are repairing. And so this hair that I never dreamt will grow is growing. This skin that I never thought will glow is glowing. This me that never thought I could move is moving. Just imagine how it would be another couple years from today. I will still be here telling you about redox. I'll still be here excited to be able to use it and helping all the people that have jumped onto this wagon and are also enjoying the benefits of redox. Maybe you started Redox. The last question I'll answer before I go. Why is it that I've been using Redox for the last few days or the few weeks or few months and I'm not seeing anything? Why? My darling, like I said, the cells in your body and the way your body functions is very, very different to the next person. There was this guy that talked about their journey on Redox. They had been bedbound for years. The grandmom heard about Redox and started ingesting it. And, she started to see little minute benefits on a daily basis. So she continued. And after a number of months, she felt, very good about herself. And so she started giving this to her grandson. It was her grandson that was bedridden because he'd been involved in a motor accident and they thought he was going to be bedridden for the rest of his life, whatever that happened to be. He started ingesting it for weeks. Weeks went by, months went by, and it felt like nothing was happening. But this woman, because of the conviction that she had and understanding that it takes time for the cells to repair themselves, how can you have an issue for 30 years and think that in 5 seconds you have to jump out? This is not a miracle. This is Redox. It's inside your body. And whilst you think that nothing is happening, it's repairing things at the very core of your being. It's not a quick fix. It's not. Okay, so she took it, kept giving it to the grandson. And after several days, weeks, and months, guess what? One day, this young man went from bedridden, can't do anything, can't move the limb, only blink the eye when he wants to say something. Maybe if he blinks it twice, it means yes. If he blinks it once, it's no. He went from that position to one day just getting out of bed and walking. Why? Because the things were happening behind the scenes inside of him. Once everything was in that homeostasis level, the balance level, all of a sudden, boom, he was able to jump out of bed and now he's living his life. He can drive, he can walk, and you should see him talk about Redox. The whole world comes alive around him when he's talking about what happened to him and how he listened to his grandmom and kept ingesting this thing. And now here he is living his best life. Maybe you want to attend one of these things so that you can see what is happening out there for your own self. If that's what you want to do, contact me. Yeah, private message me. You can email me, sikaeducates@gmail.com. You can contact me on that website that is on the screen, and I can get you where you need to get to. A word to the wise is enough. Ask relevant questions, and I'm happy enough to answer them as best as I can for you. The one thing that you shouldn't do is to just sit on the fence and not take no action. Just hear what I've said and not do anything with it. Because it's you that is suffering in silence needlessly. Needlessly. There is help. There is help. Please get hold of this help and get your life back, because you deserve to enjoy and not endure your life. A lot of people are just in endurance mode. We're not enduring anymore. We are enjoying this life. So I hope that what I've said has made, some resonance with you. If you have questions, please feel free to ask away. Private message me, email me, sikaeducates@gmail.com, and I'll answer every question that you have. But don't sit on the fence and do nothing, because you're hurting. And it's so heartbreaking to see somebody that is hurting when there's a real solution out here to help you. God bless you. I love you so much. Stay beautiful and handsome. And remember that it is your responsibility and yours alone to make sure that you're whole, system, your whole body is working efficiently. Don't entrust that to anybody. Take back control of your own life and do the needful. God bless you. Mwah. Take care and have a good Friday. Bye bye.